Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And that makes the score 7-0.
Saints nothing.
The Carolina kick team is out there ready to go, and they kick this one away. And from the end zone, Deontay Hardy will bring it out. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. They'll be looking to match that touchdown from a moment ago. 7-0 is the score as they begin with a first down. And he'll get this up to about the 40. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
They'd love to just strike it out with a touchdown right here. And if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up the score.
And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. Consecutive runs of 6 yards gives them a 1st and 10. The Saints have 1 and 6 now. They were losers last time out, trying to turn things around here in this one.
And it always helps to have a home crowd behind you, giving you encouragement as long as you give them something good to cheer about. So you know they just want to come out and play well for their faithful, and I expect them to do just that.
On 1st and 10, Winston. He gets this one complete to Tre'Quan Smith. And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9. On 2nd down, Kamara. And he'll get it inside the 40 to the 39. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
That's good for the Saints.
Play action now, Winston. They'll get this out to Kamara. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. The Saints first down there on a gain of 11.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play. First down, they'll go to the ground attack. Down at the 25. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. And they'll give him another shot here. Oh, he put it on the carpet, a fumble. And it's picked up by the Panthers. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. And a little careless there, Charles, on that carry.
And it's not just having 2 hands on the ball. It's tucking it away. It's using your body to keep people shielded off. It's so many.
Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. In for the sack, Deion Jones.
He'll give them an instant to react. There's a classic case of if you blink, you missed it. Off the line and to the quarterback in just a couple of seconds. Running back only had a moment to react and attempt to throw a block.
And they're able to bring him down at the 20. So not a lineman, but the tight end instead this time, drawing the holding call.
And more what you're getting with tight ends are guys who are much more receiver than blocker. They may be willing, but that might not be their thing. Oftentimes, they'll be the ones getting the penalties.
They'll throw over the middle, taken in. That's a gain of 11. Would have been a first down if not for that penalty moments ago. The Panthers on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. They'll set up to throw. That's going to be caught along the sideline, and what a job of keeping his feet in bounds. They say that's a catch. Great way to convert on 3rd down there. 21 yards the play. 2 minutes on the clock, 2nd quarter, 7-0 ball game. On 1st down, he'll drop to throw. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Now following the sack, they'll come up here on a 2nd down and 12. They will run out of the gun with Jacobs. And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. A nice job there as he rumbles for 9. And it'll be back to a 3rd and 3.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
A good-looking drive so far for the Panthers and a 1st down here. The Panthers going to use the 2nd of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. And this is caught. Touchdown, Carolina. Herb Smith Jr., 35 yards. And the Panthers will extend their lead in the final minute of the half. And now it's blocked. A very good return there. Give him an even 20 yards. And it will be the Panthers' ball, 1st and 10. So after the block PAT, they're ready to kick this one off. Fields it right around the goal line. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23.
The Saints take over 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line.
Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. And Charles, you're down multiple scores, less than a minute left here, but with that deficit, they've got to try to at least work their way into field goal range to try to muster something out of this drive.
And I'm going to go ahead and date myself one more time because I want to quote an old Smokey and the Bandit lyric. They've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but they still have time to get it done. So I'm looking forward to watching them mount this drive and see if they can get some points out of it.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. To throw is Winston. That pass complete to Deontay Hardy. The Saints going to call the 1st of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the 1st half.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a 1st down.
A 1st down throw for Winston. Complete to right. And they're going to get this up to midfield. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Winston to give. It's Kamara. And good penetration here. He'll get this down only to about the 49-yard line. Now another timeout called for by the offense as the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the 1st half. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Winston now. That pass is caught by Hardy. Now the Saints will use their 3rd and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line. But once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
Now throwing on third down there, but he cannot connect.
As quarterbacks like to do, he pushed it downfield on that throw. But I think that since he was outside the pocket and there was open space, it would have been a good time for his first carry of the game.
So on trots the field goal unit, and wow, this is going to be a challenge here. This will approach NFL record territory. It's a 62-yard attempt. That's leaking to the right, and he missed it by a foot or two. It's no good, and the deficit will hold pat at 13.
Well, I'd say that it's fair to say nothing has gone right in this first half for them. Even here, you've got a chance to at least get on the board, but that goes by the wayside. And now, this coaching staff, they've got to figure out some way to wake this team up at halftime to get them going.
So that would have been something from that distance, but to no avail. Comes up empty as we have reached the intermission. As we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports halftime report. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. The Saints going to go on offense first, and they trail here as we begin quarter number 3. From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And he takes this near the 25, just a little pass there, call it the 26.
The Saints take over first down 10 at their own 26-yard line.
The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either. So certainly something has to change here in quarter 3.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well, and they've kept them around in this game. Now they've got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows how to focus on defending the pass here. They've got to re-energize that ground game and maybe open things up for a comeback here in this half. And this drive is almost over before it began, thanks to a great defensive effort. Sack on first down, followed by an incompletion. One more good rep, and they get off the field.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Jameis to throw it. And this is going to be intercepted. Jeremy Chinn picks it off. And the Panthers are going to take possession of the football.
And that has to be a little bit discouraging, because after all their halftime talk, adjustments and points of emphasis, their first drive ends with an interception. Absolutely aggravating if you're a head coach, because you spent all that time, gone through every situation possible, and it still ends in a turnover.
Peyton Turner there on the tackle. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a third down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. He'll take a shot for the end zone. He's got it for a Panther touchdown. DJ Moore with his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Panthers take the forced turnover on defense and convert it into 6 points. Well, partner, I mean, if anybody was still questioning whether or not he had an NFL caliber arm, I think you can toss that right out the window. That was a heck of a throw right there.
I would agree totally. Question it no more. This rookie, big-time throw right there. Great poise, stepped up, trusted he could lay it in there perfectly, and he knew that his guy was going to make the catch on the other end. Nice collaboration.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
They attempted to fade to the back corner of the end zone unsuccessfully. And I've been with you long enough, Brandon. I know that's not one of your favorite calls.
Well, it's interesting. Before working with you, I always viewed that as you're just taking away space and you're trapping yourself in a corner. But you actually have told me they're trying to create space where space is not.
Yeah, it's really it's a weird deal, isn't it? But you got to just move that defender inside to create that separation and that little bit of space where there just isn't much.
Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the first down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the first down. That's exactly what they did.
42 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
They run it again with Kamara. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. Nothing in that first half, nothing on the last drive, but they're moving now with a 1st and 10. There's Chris Olave. And he's got this down a yard or 2 shy of the 40 before he's out of bounds. A gain of 8 there on the play. And they'll be left with 2nd and a couple.
Brings up 2nd and 2.
A 10th carry for Kamara. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. They'll pound it up the middle with Kamara. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
No doubt about it. A really nice job there by the defense, not allowing him to get to the perimeter. But that means your defensive ends, your outside linebackers, the guys that you pay big money to sack the quarterback, they also have to have interest in the running game as well. And they did a nice job there of holding the point of attack and not giving ground.
A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Winston. The pass caught by Olave. And this defense rallies, and they stop him short of the first down right near the 24.
It's 4th down.
4th down, Winston. Oh, that's into a sea of bodies, and it's intercepted. Picked off by J.C. Horn. And the Panthers are going to get the ball back on the turnover as they hold on 4th down. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
Panthers 19, Saints nothing.
Second down, Jacobs once more. He takes this for 3 to the 29.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them. trying to keep them from...
And, Jameis intercepted a third time. Picked off by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. So call off the pick six.
Everything looked right. It looked like it was in their favor. Returned it for a touchdown, as you just described. But instead, the penalty for interference nullifies everything.
Jacobs going to try the middle. And the big boys up front, they're going to stop him right at the line. David Onyemata there on the tackle.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature at the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards.
Now that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater, he just made a great play there.
The offense on third down, they've been excellent, 6 for 7. This is 3rd and 8. They'll stay on the ground with Jacobs. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 11 yards and a Panther first down.
Brandon, when a defense just simply can't get off the field on third down, we all know how important that down is for both sides of the ball. You often feel like you're just a step behind whatever they're doing offensively.
And one of the differences in this game, no doubt, third down conversion, and that is going to be a story they'll talk about after this one. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
It's a loss of 2. Brings up 2nd and 12 at the Saints' 39-yard line.
On the handoff, this is Jacobs. It'll be a gain of 5, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and about 7 left.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball, because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
Now back to throw. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. Dropped for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders.
Even keeping the back in for extra protection on third down, they still couldn't prevent the sack. Now it's 4th and long thanks to a terrific individual effort on defense.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. And now, defensively, they're going to burn their first timeout. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. He'll look to throw. And he's got his tight end. That's Smith. And he is going to have a Panthers first down. And it is a big letdown there defensively. They somehow allow him to convert on 4th and long. The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. Here's Jacobs. And he is not going to go anywhere. They're going to get to him behind the line, and that is going to get us to the 2-minute warning. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. One more time with Jacobs. And here he'll get it down to the 7. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here. Not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well.
And he will take it across for a Panthers touchdown. Taking it in from 7 yards away. And the Panthers look like they're going to get back in the win column as they extend their lead here in this 4th quarter.
Eddie Pinheiro lining up.
We saw so much of this last year at the college level, but there you go. His first rushing touchdown as an NFL quarterback.
And with the speed he has, we certainly know it won't be his last, because that's something that aided him very well, as you mentioned, at the college level. It's something he's going to carry over, and they'll make it a big part of their offense.
Fielded just outside the goal line. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
The Saints take over first down 10 at their own 27-yard line.
The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. It's been a tough go for them. It's still without any points here in the fourth quarter. And a big deficit, Charles, but they moved the football on some drives. They just haven't had any points.
Yeah, and I know in their minds they're thinking the game plan has actually been working. We just haven't scored points. Well, isn't that the bottom line, partner? To put points on the board. So if you're moving it and you're not scoring, is it really working? Right now, they've got nothing left to lose. They might as well go for broke.
Winston's throw complete there to Smith. And they work this well upfield across the 45. Now the Saints will use their third and final timeout, as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down.
The 47-yard line.
Here's Winston. He's going to let it fly. And, oh, Jameis intercepted a third time. Jeremy Chinn picks it off. Wow, between last week and this week, that's now 8 interceptions. 5 a week ago, now 3 here.
Well, he is so lucky that one of the defensive coordinators I played for, a man named Ken Donahue, is not there right now, because he saw that happen during his coaching career, and he grabbed a quarterback in the midst of a streak like this and said, tell you what, son, why don't you throw it to the defensive guys, and let's see if our receivers can intercept it.
Well, he's got to figure something out, because the current formula is not working. Here's Jacobs on 1st and 10. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Second down, Jacobs once more. And a short gain down to about the 33. It'll be a pickup of a couple, and it leaves them with a 3rd and 3. I guess the simple question, why not just take a knee there?
I don't understand either why you would take any sort of a chance. We've seen it happen in the game of football. Doesn't matter whether you've watched high school, college, or the NFL. Some people get a little greedy, try to get that extra running play in, and it can backfire on them.
Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
Partner, one thing I was lousy at growing up, track and field, I could never anticipate the start before a race, but how about that backer? He figured it out, jumped the count, and turned it into a really nice play for his defense.
And now we'll get a timeout here. They're able to stop it with 1 second to go in this game. And on 4th down, they come up and take the knee. So this one is over. A victory for Carolina. And this was truly a total team effort, Charles, on both sides of the ball.
Well, they absolutely pitched a shutout, so it can't get much better than that, right? The defense led the way, but the offense did their part as well. They moved the ball up and down the field. So you've got to like what you saw. What do they call that? A total team effort? I think when it's time to hand out game balls, guys from both sides will end up getting one.
So for Carolina, a loss would have really hurt, but as it stands, it's an important win as they move to 3-5 on the year. And they'll return home next week to take on the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, for the Saints, things are kind of getting ugly as they drop to 1-7 now on the year. And they'll try to turn it around next week as they head to Atlanta for a matchup with the Falcons.
When the members on and get it going Donkey Kong. They got the hand dollar, will you give a dog a bone? I'm like, nah, you gotta get it on your own. They get an attitude, I'm like, you better check your tone. They ain't got no job, need someone to take her home. I hop up in the car, whip like Indiana Jones. Going George Lucas, now I'm out here killing clones. Coming in strong like, tear down, tear down, tear down, tear down, tear down. Boosted up my cardio, I used to get to run around. I've been doing this since I had to work in